Alright, this is Seb Spillman's focus group on my research plan. So at the moment, I'm thinking of researching theoretical topics to start off with, like culture during the 90s, why that meant that guitar bands were at its height, why people were going out more, whether that's linked to, cheaper cost of living, and they were going out, they could afford to go to live venues. Trying to look at theoretical stuff on the current music industry and current culture, and then compare the two, like why people aren't going to gigs as much, things like that. I'm going to research music that fits my genre of production, and explaining how it can help my editing style, things like cut to the beat stuff, whether music with heavy words and instruments fits my production, whether I just want a normal beat, specific interview styles such as casual sit down in someone's room or more formal in a studio where I'm behind the camera, whether I should lead it. So I'll look at productions like that. Professional products such as Oasis Supersonic documentary, Beatles Get Back, for their interview styles and things like that. What does everyone think? Any suggestions on what I should look at?
You should definitely look at, because a big part of music comes from culture.
Yeah.
It doesn't appear out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So you can say you can actually look in the culture of today and say what about it is not allowing that to come out of it, and more on the side of the viewer, it's you can say because of social media, it's there's certain stuff that you see other people do, and it's your whole existence is being displayed to everybody, so it's you're less likely to do stuff outside of the norm.
Okay.
So it's kind of
less expressiveness.
Yeah, and it's you go to a club and it's you just post a story we'll stand in with a DJ, yeah. But if you're into going out and listening to a band, it's you don't get the same social. Do you know what I mean? It's because people aren't in that place, people aren't going there. It's like a big star with a big gravity thing. When there's a bunch of people over there, it pulls more people. When there's no one there, it doesn't pull anybody. People just get pulled away from it, kind of thing.
So it's fair to say I should research into why there's less role models, influences
in that area.
For people, yeah.
And also you could even research on the idea of how culture works.
Yeah.
So what about it makes it makes that stuff appear or make people follow it? Because it's there's actually good examples. No, it's unrelated, but think about how big streaming has just randomly kind of become. It's
podcasts.
Oh yeah, podcasts. Yeah. It's that kind of thing. It's
once one person capitalizes on it.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with Oasis. If that's what the thing is about, it's they were that equivalent of it's just a big thing. It's where has that gone? We don't actually have that anymore. We don't have that anymore, because I think it's beyond just guitar music. It's there's no good music.
Yeah.
I like rap too.
Yeah.
But that's rubbish now as well. It's there's nothing
there's no substance.
And something you could put in the documentary is you could talk about how with a big gap in the market or a big void, it's that's where creative stuff gets pulled out of. The 80s were kind of horrific. The music, they were just a bit there was no one who's really number one on top, and then Nirvana and Oasis come, who were whole new sounds. So that's maybe look at that.
Do you think I should also research why certain styles of music are popular today, such as music adverts or songs with 10-second hooks?
Yeah, you
can
you can talk about how it's more focused on creating something that's an earworm that would be profitable rather than something that people actually.
So do you think researching what in today's music gets people's attention?
Yeah. Or what specifically is an earworm? But also you mentioned about the whole people not going out as much anymore, and you can talk about just the antisocial nature of people staying at home and just sort of just being on their phones and whatnot. They're not necessarily endorsed in exploring what there is to offer.
You can also look at the different ways that celebrity exists now, because if you think about back in the 90s, things were on tabloids and on MTV, and there's there were designated places where you go where it's not created. It's not tailored to you. That it's not an algorithm on MTV. So you're kind of certain bands will push to the front, and it's that means that you get these big superstars. And now it's you might SZA or you might Sabrina Carpenter, but whoever it is, but they're not giant, because it's you get to choose who you want, which you could think is a good thing, but I think it actually stops people from connecting, because it's I just Fontaines DC. It's like no bands are big, no one's big.
Also, talk about. I don't know. I feel like bands nowadays just have this need to replicate the past in a way.
Yeah, it's
There's
cringe.
no originality, so you just hear it, and it's distinct how they've copied someone in the past.
So maybe I
and
should
it's
be
just-
researching why we haven't been able to move on and create a new
Yeah.
era.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's like the only bands which come out are just copies of 90s
Yeah.
bands.
Yeah.
The only thing that comes out. So that's why no one likes it, because it's like
So,
what,
yeah.
no one's gonna be better than the real thing.
So yeah, my main research is what made 90s scene so popular.
And what made because I think if there was great guitar music, people would go and listen to it. People
Yeah.
like good.
Because there are still people alive, of course.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you could say why is there no good new music being made? It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be like I like music, but I love guitar songs, but it's like I don't have to listen to that.
Yeah.
I'll be down to listen to anything good, but nothing good gets made. Nothing.
Yeah.
Like you could look at what's that about? Like why is there a massive downturn in like
Yeah.
creativity and unique bands and
Do you think I should research then the path to getting in a band
so you,
now is
you could
harder?
research that it's like a band. Say you have a really creative, good, talented band, but
Yeah.
they can't afford to
Studio
They
time,
can't afford studio time.
social
They can't
media.
afford to. They can't afford to They have, and also with the label, it's like you have to be famous on TikTok
Yeah.
before they
Yeah.
sign you. So it's
Yeah.
like there's no path to becoming a band because it's like the scene's small and you
Well,
don't get
it's
paid
run
much.
differently, and there's no music channels like MTV.
So you can't be creative. It's harder to be creative because you have to try and to just
Yeah.
get a little bit of money. You just have to kind of squeeze into this
well, you need to.
I bite my tongue as a bird.
So should I research maybe people are losing creativity because they know the only way they can make it is a certain path.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it's like the creative people haven't got an avenue to make money.
Yeah, so
it's
they
like
have to sacrifice.
They have to
that.
sacrifice
Yeah.
their creativity
Okay.
to and they won't even make money if they.
Yeah.
It's like it's so dumb because if you don't be creative, you won't make money.
Yeah.
But if you be creative, you won't make money.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
it's kind of a losing game.
Other
unless you're me.
companies control the image. That was a thing in the past, but the pathway nowadays it's just too managed and there's no substance.
I
to
was
it.
talking to this guy yesterday who's he used to make music videos for tons of famous bands, and he said that when the labels were still bad, but it's they were allowed to kind of just
deviate.
a little bit, and it's you were allowed to it's if they trusted you,
Yeah.
you can just do whatever you want, but it does not exist now. It's just make another Tootsie
it's too
slide or
showy.
make another Kiki, do you love me?
It's too showy. It rips music of
Yeah.
what it is. It's almost just like
Okay,
a performance.
and then finally, do you think I should be researching into practical skills like camera work in a studio,
Yeah.
how to film, and sort of film whilst not being seen, so that not to interrupt
Yeah.
Yeah.
natural moments
Right.
between members, such as that. Do you think?
Yeah,
Well, you
that-
could do almost, with the whole following thing.
Yeah.
You don't need a sort of professional layout. You
Okay,
can just
yeah.
have a
Yeah.
average sort of.
But I would also definitely think about having some direct to camera kind of talky talk moments where they're actually sat in a row and just talking about it, but also because it's it'll be you want to hear what they have to say, but you also want to see them in the environment because
Yeah.
it's about the band. I'm guessing the documentary is
Yeah.
about the band.
Are you going to include any archival footage?
Yeah, I think when I'm talking about the past eras, obviously I don't have any actual footage from then, so that will have
Yeah.
to be my 10%.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You could also look at for that. You could look at how to make cool titles to fit it.
Okay.
So you could look at some documentary titles which fit that aesthetic in a non-cringe way.
Okay.
Because it's you don't want it to be rock or
Yeah.
whatever, but you want it to be to I guess fit the 90s aesthetic, or you could do half 90s, half
Yeah.
modern, kind of split in the middle or
So
something like that.
researching editing styles.
Yeah, and research how they would make graphics if you're going to go for
Right.
kind of a
Yeah.
90s inspired thing, instead of just having some white text. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, perfect. All right.
Wait, one more thing. You could also use the graphics with your own words that are similar to the Oasis logo or the
Okay,
Beatles
right.
logo. You could
Yeah.
replicate it but with different words.
Okay, so researching marketing. All right, thank you very much.